everyone, and welcome to the Amber Data Derivatives podcast. I'm here with Bernie, who is the Chief Commercial Officer at PowerTrade. Bernie, how are you?
Hey, I'm good, Greg. How's it going?
Oh, going really well. So I'm very excited to have you on. We chatted with BitMEX and PowerTrade recently around the offering of BitMEX options on BitMEX. Today, we're going to explore a little bit more of sort of what PowerTrade offers and sort of the vast variety of altcoin optionality that you guys bring to the market. And I'm very excited to chat about all that stuff because it's really kind of a new offering to the market. Maybe we could just start on just a brief overview of what again is the relationship between BitMEX and PowerTrade in terms of options and the options offering.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Reagan. Super excited as well to be here today with you. Thanks for the invite. Just to briefly recap. So basically, PowerTrade, we're a centralized options exchange. We also have perpetuals and spot, but the focus is on options. So we partnered up with BitMEX to provide our liquidity to all their customers via the BitMEX UI. So you're a BitMEX perp trader. You now have an option sub-account. It's a tab in the UI. You click there, and it opens the same UI that you would have if you would trade directly on PowerTrade. But your funds, everything stays with BitMEX. There's no need to KYC with us. So basically, if you're a BitMEX client, you're good to go to trade any of the option products that we offer.
Oh yeah, that's fantastic. So really kind of a seamless offering for BitMEX clients to now trade optionality, and essentially everything happens on the back end, and essentially the trades get cleared on the PowerTrade side. Is that the correct understanding?
Yes, correct. And also it involves having the benefit of the multi-collateral. So if our options are cash settled across all products, BTC, ETH, and altcoins. So if you can deposit USDC, you can deposit USDT, or also Bitcoin. And Bitcoin can be used even if you trade Solana options. And then you have the span portfolio margin wrapper, which makes it very capital efficient. Obviously, if you're long Bitcoin and you sell some covered calls, then obviously that gets you a nice margin offset. So yeah, all of that functionality which we have on PowerTrade is also available on BitMEX. So we're very excited to be working with the BitMEX team there.
Fantastic. So one of the things that's really exciting, so you guys have a lot of kind of different cool tools, and we'll explore those over at PowerTrade. But one of the things that's the most exciting is you have a suite of options on altcoins. So things such as like the Telegram Ton coin, there's options on that. Can you briefly just explain the different altcoin options you guys offer and the different maturities, just to give us a brief overview of what that looks like?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so we've been rolling out over the last 3 months, really, the altcoin option markets based on client discussions that we have, both with retail and institutions. So at the moment, yeah, Ton is a great example. We launched that this week. Obviously, there's a lot of buzz around it. So at the moment, we're offering 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 expirations running from dailies, so 29th of June until 27th of September. Strikes we have for the July, I'm looking at the end of July expiration between $4 and $20. So pretty good size as well, as 1,000 options each side. The vol for at the money is about 7 to 8 vols wide on a I think it's a 90 vol asset. So it's pretty tight. Everything is again USDC premium, so nice and easy to trade. Linear Europeans, settlement time 0800 UTC. It's auto exercise as opposed to I guess in TradFi some markets you still have to manually exercise. So we do everything for the client there. You get your USDC into your account if you're in the money. And then we always the hurdle we always get is, well, I'm new to options. I can't really put a big trade on, so we always make the minimum sizes very, very small. So at the moment we have a 0.1 ton options. So if you do a $8 call, it's about 5 or 6 cents. So very low. Again, because we have the mentality, we think no account size is too small or too big. So anybody should be able to get started with those products. Yeah.
And what are some of the other altcoins you guys are offering?
Yeah, so we have we started initially, and I think on BitMEX there's currently 4 available, which is BNB, XRP, Doge, and Solana. And then on PowerTrade we launched a few others. We have ARB, AVAX, we have Link, And then we also, I mean, again, a lot of retail discussions. We stuck our neck out and launched Pepe and Shiba Inu. And it's a not a funny trade, but we had a pretty big trade in terms of option size. We had like, I think it was a 50 billion Pepe options. Obviously, premium wise was small, was like $1,200, but it's just it was just quite interesting. So we actually had to make those options. One contract equals 1 million options in Pepe and Shiba Inu because obviously of the decimals. Otherwise, you have to type too many zeros when you enter the order, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. That's so interesting. And so I think one of the really interesting aspects of dealing with altcoin optionality is really like, how do you value these curves? So, do you have market makers that essentially, have their own valuation models and they're the ones providing, the tight spreads, and essentially PowerTrade just has this risk engine that essentially looks at, where the spreads are and based off how the market makers are quoting it? Or is there something that PowerTrade provides that makes altcoin trading possible? Like, what is the source of the ability to trade altcoin options on PowerTrade?
Yeah, so we're a centralized exchange. We're an infrastructure venue, so we don't have any trading desk, any involvement with market making at all. So we basically work with third-party market makers, as I guess most or all other exchanges pretty much do. So we have market makers, which yes, they have a model. Obviously, they will have to work out where the balls are. We don't have obviously the insights, but some discussions we've had in general with traders who look at altcoins and saying, listen, probably you'll have to look at probably Ethereum vol surface to some extent. Maybe have a look at historical volatility differences between something, maybe like Shiba Inu and ETH. What's the difference there? One thing might move a lot more. Maybe those altcoins gap a lot, so you'll have to price in maybe a different type of skew. So all the quotes you see on the screen, which we'll show towards the end, is all provided by market makers, HFT style quoting. They're really doing a fantastic job there, updating thousands of instruments, real time, 24/7. If the market's volatile, the quotes are going to be there. And they're consistent as well, because one question you always get is, okay, I'm going to get into a nice trade. What are if I want to get out, the quotes are going to be there. It's not that the market maker is going to try to widen quotes when a client wants to close. So I think that's maybe for newbies who are a bit worried about, have a bigger profit. I have a big profit in my position. How do I get out this? There's prices on screen. It's consistent also if you take the full size top of book, so there's 1,050 ton options, the market maker will refresh the quote very, very quickly. And then if you're an institution, which is also something I think they're warming up, I think, to the idea, some discussions we had with especially liquid token funds who have, token positions, they generally tend to hedge their exposure with ETH options, which obviously is not really a perfect hedge. So they're slowly warming up to say, well, if I have a big Tom book, what I'm going to do, maybe I'll look at buying some puts there, or if I want to generate some yield, I'll actually sell some tone options. So it's a bit of education needed still to be done there, because I think people are just way more comfortable with ETH options, given if it's a more mature market. But yeah, it's definitely we're seeing some flow coming through from those type of clients as well. And they generally, if you want to do a bigger trade, one example I can give you was in WorldCoin. I think about 2-3 weeks ago, a client bought a $6 call for expiration today, so that's obviously expired, and they put down $50,000 premium. So we transacted that on our RFQ block interface, where basically the price is negotiated, on Telegram, and then it's executed in one block, so the client doesn't have to go to the order book, and click multiple times. So there are also people who have a very strong view on altcoins. They're happy to put the money down, and generally they run it into expiration. Maybe do some perpetual, locking in profits via perps, or trading their gamma around the position. So those are definitely similar trading tactics that you see in Bitcoin and ETH markets as well.
That's a really interesting point. And something that you mentioned, there's a couple things that you mentioned I want to dig in on, but one of the things you mentioned is that, historically, people are trading around their altcoin portfolio holdings using ETH options. And that's something we had another guest on, Arthur Sept, who is a well-known quant in the space. He said that type of strategy works in bear markets because the correlation between everything is very tight. But in bull markets, where altcoins start to have like very jumpy up moments, that type of hedging doesn't work anymore. And so having the ability to directly trade the altcoin optionality is very important because they just don't trade the same way. So that's very interesting. You mentioned something about RFQ quotes. So, RFQ is very interesting because you can essentially put on a multi-legged spread all in one clip, so you ensure that you're not legging into the spread and the market's not moving against you as you get one side of the leg on while you're waiting for the other side to execute. You can also typically execute a lot more size in sort of a stable price manner. Is there like a minimum limit for people to trade on the RFQ? You mentioned, maybe that gets negotiated on sort of the Telegram platform and then settled. Can you just kind of walk us through the RFQ process that you guys offer?
Yeah, sure. So the minimum size is actually the same as for order books. Because I guess even if you just wanted to trade on the RFQ for the sake of trading the RFQ, it probably doesn't make sense to put the minimum, 0.1 ton options and do an RFQ. You can just go to the order book.
Right.
But yeah, if you have a bigger client, so generally we have, we pride ourselves in offering really good, customer service. So with even retail guys and big institutions, obviously we have Telegram channels, which we have sort of 24/7 coverage. Client will come to us and will say, listen, we just launched, WorldCoin options. They would come to us and say, well, yeah, hey, I want to do a bigger trade than what you have in the order books on a particular strike expiration. They give us kind of normally $1 premium that they want to spend. Like I said before, it's not even options. It's like, listen, I want to spend X thousand on this call or put. We then go to multiple, our market makers, ask them for if they want to provide a quote. We then show the quotes to the customer. Obviously, the best quote, is the one that's going to win the deal. The client says, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll buy that call at X dollars. Client then sets up the RFQ and the platform. Market maker enters, the bidder offer, and the client then just trades against the quote in the RFQ, and everything settles in one go. And there's no restriction, there's no max size, right? So if the market maker is happy to quote whatever, $100,000, $200,000 worth of premium, you transact everything in one go, your position drops on the system, all your Greeks are there, and you're good to run the position. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. So PowerTrade also offers some other interesting tools. Maybe we can dig into that. What's kind of like the payout for anyone who's new to options, kind of what's like the min-max payout you're looking for in different options trades. I think you mentioned maybe sometime down the road, you guys are going to be launching a leaderboard as well for people to essentially see how they're ranking with their options trading. Can we maybe explore some of those other offerings?
Yeah, sure. And I'm happy afterwards to share the screen and show the strategy explorer. So yes, we basically just rolled out, because we get a lot of questions, right? I think puts and calls, people can understand, even retail or traders who have never traded options. But then when you talk about multi-legs, which is also one point for the RFQ, you can do up to 10 different options in one RFQ. Generally, it's, call spreads, put spreads, butterflies, the standard structures that people would normally execute. So yeah, that's why we've designed a strategy screener. I don't know, do you want me to share the screen now, or you want me to do it a bit later?
Yeah, that sounds great. Let's go ahead and share it. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, I'll just share the screen here. And we can maybe take it step by step. Maybe just, if you can you see the screen okay?
Yes, let me make this a little bit bigger on my side. Perfect.
I can maybe zoom in a bit here on my end.
Cool, this looks great.
Yeah, so maybe just I'll just summarize what we verbally discussed. So here is PowerTrade Exchange UI. You've got your list of option products that are available.
Oh yeah, let me just read some of those off for the listeners. So I see Ape, I see Arbitrum, I see Bitcoin Cash, BNB, Polkadot. Very interesting. Filecoin, ING, Link, Litecoin, Matic, Pepe meme. That's great. That's very exciting. Sui, which is also just a new coin in general. WLD Wild. I actually don't know that coin.
WorldCoin, yeah.
Okay, that's WorldCoin.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's the WorldCoin one. So we're happy to, we're happy to add more. So if there's listeners, please feel free to filter back any feedback of coins that you would want to see listed. We're preparing the next bunch of listings, probably later this month. And then you select your product. You have your kind of standard grid here, your expirations, strikes, and just size and bid ask. And very, very good point from Greg. I always say, listen, if you're new to options, always have the payoff chart. Have a look at that to guide you. I think for pro traders, obviously they know this in their head. So, but we try to at the same time be an exchange, but also kind of help people understand options a bit better, and become like self-sufficient in when they trade. Here we're selecting an $8 call, so you can see here is a nice payoff graph. Gives you the max profit, unlimited obviously, and then the max loss. You can look at your various Greeks here, and then obviously for what we find, displays like this one is for the pro. It's easy. Maybe the big pro traders actually trade via API. But if you're new to this, there's a lot of data, right? Compare this to a perpetual order book.
Right.
It's a lot of information. So we thought, okay, let's break this down a bit more and simplify it. So we launched what we call just the Strategies Explorer. Pretty, I think, simple to use. Again, it goes straight to the ton strategies, ton markets here. So the goal here is to really find profitable, potentially interesting risk-reward opportunities. So first I can select my expirations, and let's assume I'm a very short-dated trader. I have big FOMO, so I need to see some action and a payout quickly, or if not, I'll just lose my premium. So that's fine as well. And I'm bullish. Why would you buck the current trend? I guess so. We're looking at only call spreads, and basically what it does, it filters. I'm going to go just for 10 strategies. It runs permutations of all the strikes which are available for call spreads for those 3 expirations. So we can see the first one is a 30th of June, $8.20 call spread. It keeps dropping out as the market makers are refreshing the quotes. So this one actually expires in 2 days, and the max profit is 1,500%. So 15 times your money, which is pretty good. And then at the end, obviously, you can see you would need about 8.5% upward move in ton, by the expiration time.
I see. Okay, so right now ton is $7.56. I can buy the $8 to $8.20 call spread. Expires in a couple days. It costs me about 1.50 cents. And so if we get through the higher strike of 8.20, I can essentially turn 1.50 cents to 20 cents, basically.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then it's very, very easy to use. So now I say, well, I actually want to trade this. You can come in here, and as you say, you can trade. You do 100 ton options. It costs you $1. Here's a nice strategy simulator that we've built. Obviously, it's very short dated, but you can do some IV shocks to the position. Market makers are refreshing, so that's why sometimes the prices drop off. And obviously, the date, if it was a longer dated expiration, you could go forward and look at further changes in the strategy based on the expiration date.
I see.
And then trade, and you can trade it directly, or you can also open it in the option chain. So then you have the full recap here, the order book, plus you have the strategy here, and you also have your Greeks after the trade happens for that particular market. So as you have build a portfolio, obviously there's no position in this account. You will then get your updated Greeks. If you have a ton position already, you put this one on. It will give you what's my new gamma, theta, etc. So it kind of helps you look at your risks in the portfolio as well. Yeah. And then you can play around. You could do, let's say 1 month. Okay, obviously the risk reward maybe is a bit less. I've limited it a little bit here to strikes, so maybe that's why. And we did maybe as an example. So yesterday, actually, we had a client who picked up I think it was a Solana call spread. I don't know how he knew about an hour plus before the big announcement from FANAC. So I would have to double check the numbers, but I think it was 4,000 or 5,000% increase in the mark to market of his position.
Wow. Wow.
So he bought the 140 call, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So obviously that ripped through, and then they would just come on and sell perpetuals to hedge part of the position as far as when I chatted with them. So it's certainly, I think, for people who are trying to find sort of a good risk reward strategy, to look at maybe the screener to guide them a little bit. Obviously, maybe for advanced traders, this is too basic, but generally, I think it just visualizes a bit better the profit potential, and it's a limited risk and a limited reward strategy, so generally costs you also less than just buying an outright call. And if the market moves away, you lose a bit more than if you traded just like a call spread or put spread.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. This is very interesting. So if someone wanted to learn more about sort of the PowerTrade platform and this offering, where could they go and learn more about it? And if someone's new to options, is there any like material that you guys offer as well that's like educational on how options work and things like that?
Yeah, so PowerTrade is our website, but you can also you can ping me on if you want directly on Telegram. It's Bernie BERNY _ Blade, and otherwise you can ping us in the PowerTrade Telegram channel as well. So if you just type PowerTrade there, we have a channel. Otherwise, I'm also on LinkedIn. We're happy to speak to anyone if it's beginning traders looking to learn. There's an educational piece on the website as well, a repository of different educational materials. So I'll drop those to you, Greg, or maybe we can add them when you post the video.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, we're definitely keen. We're obviously on X as well, PowerTrade HQ. We're trying to put out more educational pieces. I'm also posting there a bit more actively. But yeah, it would be great to generally get feedback if people have questions or suggestions, even to the Strategy Explorer or any other altcoins they would like to see listed. One thing that we're getting a bit of interest is sort of pairs trading, let's say ETC and ETH. Or Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin Vol. So that's something as well where I think there could be some interesting opportunities there to see if there's any relative value trades to be done between the two pairs or in generally. I think one interesting comment a client made is that they see Bitcoin and ETH options as almost the index, and then the individual altcoins almost looking to trade those against the big two, which I think in equity derivatives is probably a common strategy as well.
Yeah.
So let's see. I think it will take a bit more time and maybe more sophisticated players to come into the space. But yeah, definitely we're super excited and really happy that we can bring some new products here to the market.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So theoretically, someone could sell some Ethereum out of the money calls and then use that premium to buy some Ton and Pepe meme calls or whatever, and essentially have sort of a relative vol trade between the two and essentially get some exposure to upside altcoins, smaller cap altcoin upside, and then finance that from selling sort of the large cap altcoin upside. That's very interesting. And then just kind of last question here. For market makers who'd like to essentially also provide markets on some of these altcoins, do you guys have essentially a way for them to get in touch with you? Is there like a market making incentive program or anything like that? How does that work on the market making side?
Yeah, definitely. So we have a market making incentive program. Again, it's if they reach out directly to myself, then we can get the discussion started. So my email is probably the best. Is Bernd@power.trade. Again, we can link it into the video or the post afterwards.
Absolutely.
Or on Telegram. Yeah, if you pick us directly, definitely. I think if there's market makers out there who are looking to quote altcoin options, we're definitely interested to see and bring more liquidity is always, I think, better, especially in higher volatile products such as altcoins. So yeah, please get in touch. We're happy to chat.
Well, thank you so much, Bernie. Thanks for walking us through that, explaining sort of the offering that you guys are doing across the altcoin space. Very excited to see how this develops. And I think it's a really nice move for the crypto volatility trading community as a whole.
Yeah, no, thanks. We're super excited as well. Thanks for giving us the chance to showcase a little bit what we're doing. And yeah, any feedback, comments are always welcome. And I think it's great that more and more clients, both institutional and obviously retail, always have been interested in meme-ish coins, I would say. Mm-hmm. So it's great that both types of players are coming into the space, and we're looking to keep growing and helping bringing more liquidity to those markets. Yeah, so thanks a lot for having me on as well.
Absolutely, and thank you for tuning in, everyone. See you next time.
Thanks. See you. Bye.